Everybody, this is BOOING. I'm a dude, divorced, single dad, doing my part to make sure all the other guys out there don't fall into the traps that me and many other guys that have come before have fallen into. So today, I'm going to be reacting to some woman here. I guess she was asked a question, do you regret your decision? And this is the thing about like this TikTok stuff or whatever. All these people, I don't know if these people have like followings or whatever it is. I just kind of click on a video and see what's going on. So apparently this is a person who enough people follow to where they would ask a question to where she feels like she needs to address it. So whatever, let's get into this.
My husband 5 months ago, and I regret it. No, you're not supposed to say.
Okay, so she divorced her husband 5 months ago and regrets it. Okay. Well, that was probably the quickest turnaround of regret a woman has had that I've seen so far. It usually takes about, I'm assuming, I'm just spitballing here, about a year for them to really understand the decision that they made. But 5 months is pretty quick compared to everybody else.
That I know I'm supposed to be in my living my best life, hoe era, whatever, but like, no. These last 5 months have broken my spirit. They have been the hardest of my life. These last 5 months.
She said it exactly. So the reason that I see, and of course they'll cope any way they possibly can and make up reason for it. But no, most of the time, all these divorces happen nowadays because women initiate like 90% of the divorces. It's all because they use the excuse, I can't be myself around you. Oh, you've never known the real me. It's like, I need to go find myself right now. She just came out and flat out said it. They miss being single and they miss spreading their legs for everybody and honing it up. That's the reality of the situation. Women do whatever it is they do before they get married, or they don't get to do that before they get married, and then they either are in a marriage for a long time to a guy and they miss doing what they did before they got married, or they claim that they missed out on doing that before they got married. Either way, it still leads to the same outcome, all because they just want to be a slut.
Have required so much work, so much discipline to get back to myself, but it's supposed to suck. I talked to my friend last night about this on the phone, and he really put it in perspective for me. Said the year you get a divorce was going to suck regardless. I question my...
Okay, did you hear that? I talked to my friend last night, and he really put it into perspective. First and foremost, of course, let's leave it to a guy to actually put things in perspective. Why? Because guys work on facts and logic. That's what we do. We don't worry about emotions like women do. But secondly, the biggest red flag here is that her friend is a he. Men and women cannot be friends, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's just a good friend. It was a really good friend. No, we're just friends. We're just friends. No. There's always some underlying sexual tension between the two of them, mostly coming from the women's part. Because you can have a guy that can just be like, yeah, I can get along with people and just kind of like offer advice and talk to them or whatever, but women can't do that. There's some form of underlying sexual tension with the woman and that guy, because if there wasn't, the woman would have nothing to do with that guy. So here you go. Her friend.
Decisions constantly. No matter what choice I made, I would have been miserable regardless. Life is not supposed to...
Right. No matter what decision you made, you would have been miserable because the problem wasn't ever with your husband. The problem was with you. Because you don't know how to be happy. Women do not know how to be happy. So she could stay with her husband and be miserable. She could divorce her husband and be miserable. But the common denominator in both those situations is the woman, plain and simple.
Be happy and perfect all the time. Most growth comes from the times when we are having to do the work, having to sit in our misery, having to sit in the quiet. And that is exactly what I'm doing. 31 and I feel like I'm 18 again, trying to navigate the world. Because you know what I regret more than leaving my husband? It having to get to that point anyway. Regret marrying the wrong...
The editing in this video is so choppy, it's like driving me insane. Back this up a little bit.
Because you know what I regret more than leaving my husband? But it having to get to that point anyway. I regret marrying the wrong person in the first place and not listening to my intuition. From my mistakes.
Women don't go through growth like she said previously. Oh, sit in the quiet door. No, they won't go through. They won't go through growth because they won't. That requires accountability. So as I'm sitting here watching this video, this woman's not taking accountability. She's just coping with the fact of what happens. But by trying to talk about growth and all this shit, she's trying to make herself think, and whoever it is that's following her think that she is improving on herself. She isn't. She isn't at all. She's not taking accountability. She's just coping with the situation. And she said here, I should have trusted my intuition and not married the wrong person. Why would you think they were something other than what they were? Because here's the deal with guys. I said it many times. The vast majority of guys, they are who they are. Guys don't change. Guys, when we are who we are from a young kid, and we just stay being that the rest of our lives, okay? Slight little fluctuations. Women are the ones that change dramatically. If you knew exactly who the guy was when you were dating or when he proposed and all this stuff, and you didn't think he was right for you then, there's no way he's going to be right for you in the future. Plus, the thing is between men and women is when a guy marries, the guy thinks that, oh, yes, they don't go into it like, oh, well, whatever, this is what it is. No, they go and think, okay, I found the woman that is for me, and this is what's going to be the rest of my life. Women will go in there and go, I found the guy that is the one for me right now. Because they always seem, in this day and age, to have some sort of exit plan. And by exit plan, I mean they are always trying to find something better. They always think they're going to come across something better. They're always on the lookout for something better and not realizing that really the odds of you finding something better is actually slim to none. The older you get, the only thing you're going to find is worse and worse and worse because your prospects as a woman greatly diminish the older you get, okay? So you're just going to have to rely on some really lonely old guy at some point in time to come be a Captain Save-A-Ho and come in and simp for you and sweep you off your feet. So that's what women always do. So I should trust my intuition, not marry this guy. Well, yeah, you should have, because now this guy, I'm just going to go ahead and assume, is losing half of his shit because of this woman not trusting her intuition. She already, like another video I saw in the past, she went into the relationship already expecting for it to end. That's what so she set herself up from failure. She set herself up for failure from the beginning.
So that you can learn from me being a dumbass because I feel dumb all the time. Of course, it's normal to have regret. I regret so many things in my life, but I can't let it ruin my life either. Never learn from things going right. We learn from them going wrong, and I'm holding on to that. I regret that I had to get to that point. I didn't want it to, but it happened, and we move on. I left.
Okay, so she wasn't regretting anything. She was just coping the whole time. She is this dead look on her face, acting like, oh, it is what it is. We're just going to keep on improving, blah, 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 blah. There's no improvement coming from this lady. She's going to stay the exact same who she is. She's going to do what she did to her ex-husband to whatever new guy's dumb enough that comes across her. But hopefully, luckily, because the internet exists, they will find this and see all these red flags and not fall into the same track. Because unlike a lot of the videos I've already done on some of the women, she is still young enough. She's 31 or whatever. She could still find somebody, be dumb enough to come across her and do it. But tell you this much. Well, in my own situation, I'm never getting in a relationship again. It's not worth it. Believe me when I say that. But let's say I was a guy out there and I would entertain this stuff. I would never entertain a divorced woman. Never. I never ever would, because she has already demonstrated that she... Can you go itch someplace else? God, my videos, apologies here, my videos are going to be full of nothing but cats meowing and dogs scratching. Okay, so we're just going to have to get used to that. But I would never entertain go someplace. I would never entertain a married woman, because they've already demonstrated the traits of the modern woman and how they enter relationships and how they treat everybody and stuff in their life. So she's already proven that she's not capable of being something else. You can at least maybe hope, if you find a woman who's never been married before, or whatever, you can hope that she turns out differently than the vast majority of women nowadays. But that's really, it's just hoping. This is at least a demonstrated, it's demonstrable that this woman here, or any previously married woman who is now divorced, cannot turn out to be different than any other model woman. And I'm not saying that guys don't deserve some blame in certain situations, but the way things are nowadays, most of the guys don't deserve any of the blame. It's just the women being fed spoonfuls of lies their whole life, telling them that they deserve the world handed to them while they do nothing back, and think they have an unrealistic view of who they are and what they are worth and what value they bring with themselves for someone else in the world. So it's unrealistic expectations all around when it comes to women nowadays. But yeah. And over here in the comments here on this video, I'm just reading the comment. I don't know if this is true or not, but the name is George, but it's a profile picture of, looks like a couple of lesbians. It says, I think everyone's forgetting this girl divorced her husband because he booed Taylor Swift. And then she responded back at the bottom and just with he. So this is how ridiculous women are now. If this is true, which I'm going to go ahead and assume it is. By the way she responded to that. She divorced her husband because he didn't like Taylor Swift. This is the type of situation, the type of women that you run into nowadays that you constantly have to try and navigate through. So just keep that in mind, everybody. All right, this is Brothario. That's all I got for you today. Want to start a conversation in the comments, please, by all means, go ahead. Let's start chitty-chatting. Subscribe and whatever you got to do. All that YouTube jargon, and I will check you later.
All right, check you later.